Welcome to Around the ECHL. Tommy Daniels alongside my broadcast partner, Maurice Fitzgerald. And tonight we go I-35 northbound, about 5.5 hours, where the voice of the Wichita Thunder will join us tonight. Jason Malz is in the house. How are you, Malzy?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Unfortunately, it's been too long. How you been?
I'm doing great. Spending time with my daughter and moved in with our team photographer for the time being until I can get a house. But so far, so good. Trying to stay healthy and stay away from COVID.
Oh, that was going to be where I was going to lead tonight. What's life been like for you and your daughter Hannah during the COVID break here? I know a tough ending to everyone's season, but catch us up. What have you been doing?
Well, when everything hit back in March, we got furloughed, and it's been a blessing in disguise. I've been able to spend time with my daughter. Like I had just mentioned, she's been playing a lot of softball over the course of the summer. I don't get to see her as much during the season because I was traveling. So to be able to see her and spend that quality time was very, very important to me. As you know, with you being a father, Tommy, how important it is to see your kids, and you only get to see yours a couple of times a year.
Yeah.
With her being in the same town as me, it was great. There were times when, she had to do online school. She'd come over for a week and stay at my house at the beginning of March and through the end of April until school ended for them. So I also got involved in a health and wellness venture to generate a second income and also get healthy myself. I lost 20 pounds over the course of the summer and still trying to do that as well. But, it's been a little bit frustrating not being able to get back to normal life, normalcy. I think everybody's kind of in the same boat. We're so sick of this virus that we just want to find a way to get everything back to where it used to be and move on with our lives.
Hey, before we go to Maurice, and I know Maurice has got a question, but I just wanted you to expand just a little bit. If people are interested in the program that you're talking about there, Malzy, that they got you healthy and dropped the 20 pounds, give us some details. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can reach out to me on Facebook, and I can visit with you and just kind of find out what exactly you're looking for and how I might be able to help you out. It's really changed my life. It's all organic, natural, plant-based nutrition, so that's been a real blessing for me.
Well, that's good. You look like you're in fighting trim. You're ready for the season already. In case you guys run short a guy, you could always say, "Hey, put me in, coach." Right?
I don't think I'm in playing shape. I gave up hockey back sophomore year of college, but I'd always love to put the skates back on, Mo. So who knows? Maybe the three of us should get on the ice together.
There you go. Now, what have you been doing to keep your play-by-play voice in fighting form? Have you been doing anything with that over the summer?
Not really. There's a couple of times where the dogs in the front room got into a fight, and I know that's been fun to do, have animals do play-by-play of your dogs fighting. But other than that, I haven't really done much in that regard.
Mal, it's funny because it's been an interesting offseason for all of us. I know here in Allen, if the season were to start tomorrow, we'd be at limited capacity, but thankful that we'd even be able to have some fans in the building. What's it been like in Wichita? And if the season started tomorrow, would you be able to have fans in the arena?
Yeah, we would. Our arena is bigger than most in our league, so I do know that we would probably have around 4,800 to 5,000, depending on how much of the upper bowl would open. But at the same time, I think it all depends on other teams in the league. I don't know what's going to happen in regards to the season starting on time in December. I know they were talking today. Haven't heard any update. So also, if you hear a dog barking in the background, that's my buddy's dog. I'm at a friend's house right now, and she's stuck in her kennel. So I do apologize for that.
I was going to say you're one hell of a ventriloquist if you got that act going there on the side.
But, fans are anxious. They want to get back. There are some fans that are concerned. They don't want to have to wear a mask. They feel like it's against their rights. And, that's such a touchy subject. I don't really want to get into that part of it. But we will be able to have fans hopefully when everything comes down and we figure out when we're going to start playing again.
Well, aside from the chirping that you're getting from the cheap seats back there with your dog in the penalty box, what do you think is going to be the type of the caliber of competition this year with other leagues already ceasing operations like the EIHL and all? Do you think there's going to be a greater presence of quality players in the ECHL this season?
I do. In fact, one of the players that we just signed was supposed to go back to the EIHL, Anthony Beauregard. He was a good player for them over in Dundee, and he ended up deciding to stay here because of the situation with the EI shutting down. There weren't any other jobs open that he was looking at over in Europe, so he's coming back to us. And I think it's going to be top heavy again. You guys are going to be as good as you were. I think Rapid City's really improving. They look like they have a pretty good roster, but yeah, there's definitely going to be an influx of better talent than you normally would see if Europe wasn't closing some of their leagues.
Mel, do you feel like there will be, some teams in our league this year that won't be able to play?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I think the biggest situation, Tommy, you and I have talked about this, is what's going to happen with the border. When can the border open? If it doesn't open, are Brampton and Newfoundland going to suffer because of that? How are we going to get players across? Joel has talked to me a little bit about being able to get some of those guys from Canada down here to be able to play on visas, but it's going to be a huge challenge, and I'm glad I'm not in that position having to deal with it.
What do you think the challenges would be if the league had to push back a little bit longer, maybe to January or something, like all the talk that's been with the NHL? If the American League and the ECHL also push back to January, it would probably be a modified schedule. What do you think that would do for the league and for all the individual organizations?
Well, I think the owners, it would affect them probably more than anybody because they're the ones that are benefiting. They're the ones that put all the money into our organization. So I don't know how it would affect the caliber of play or the fans still being willing to come out to the games. But I think that's certainly a touch point right now. Are they wanting to start in December, or half the team's going to play in December and half going to play in January? Because there are still teams that are in areas where they can't have more than 50 fans in their building.
Yeah, this is around the ECHL. Our guest this week, the longtime voice of the Wichita Thunder. That just means he's very old. He's been a good friend for a long time. If we play the 72-game schedule, and I really hope we do, I believe we will. Like you said, we might be starting later. With the travel situation, we could be seeing more of each other this year. You could see one of those situations where you're playing more teams in your division or in your area because of travel, which would be great. Our rivalry is lived on for several years now, and going back to even before you and I were there. The rivalry, Wichita, Tulsa, Wichita, Oklahoma City. There's been some great rivalries, in this area in the South, and we've been able to develop one with you guys and with Kansas City, and hey, I would welcome that if we played you guys even more. I know fans like to see different teams around the league, but there's nothing like those rivalry games back to back on a Friday and Saturday night to get the fans and the broadcasters pumped up.
When I was looking at the original schedule, Tommy, I said to you, wow, we only play you, I think it was 3 or 4 times down in Allen before they decided to move the season up to December, which was kind of surprising to me because I think it benefits us to play you guys a lot more. Typically, Wichita has seen Kansas City, Tulsa, and Allen 70 to 75% of our schedule normally, so that could be increased to 80 to 85%. Right. With everything going on. So, yeah, it could mean more games against rivalry rivals, and what happens when Wichita and Allen gets together. It's always fun, let's put it that way.
Well, talk about that rivalry from the Wichita perspective. I know Tommy and I have talked on the broadcast a bunch of times about it from the Allen perspective, but what about the Allen Thunder, that competition, that intensity that always meets with these two teams on the ice, and give us your perspective from Wichita.
I always try and correlate the Allen and Wichita rivalry over the last couple of years, even though Wichita hasn't been as competitive on the ice or in the standings as to the Wichita-Colorado rivalry back when you guys weren't around, but we also had Oklahoma City. Wichita and Colorado used to play a number of times throughout the course of the year, and it got intense. It was good hockey. There was a lot of physical activity on the ice, and that's certainly what you see when Wichita takes on Allen. And I think with it being a little bit closer than Fort Collins, it makes it even better because you can have some of those fans travel down, and we do get a good amount of fans that go down into your building and watch when the two teams go down there and play in Allen.
How concerned are you, especially as we watch the NFL now, and the Tennessee-Pittsburgh game was canceled this weekend, and then, New England in several cases of COVID-19, and of course, they're playing on Monday night as we record this show. It'll air on Tuesday. How concerned are you with us and our traveling, and you get 20 plus people on a bus together, and we're hoping that this is going sooner than later, but it appears it's going to hang around for a little bit. How concerned are you just in traveling?
Well, I do know this, Tommy. Our GM has already told me that it's a good possibility that I'm not going to be making any road trips this year because of that fact. I do know the league is trying their best to separate players and coaching staff from the front offices so there isn't any issue with people possibly passing COVID back and forth. There's going to be a lot of challenges with this, I think, especially at our level. Let's say somebody gets the virus, they're going to have to be quarantined. Where are you going to put them?
Yep.
You can't obviously have them on the bus, so testing is going to be very important, and making sure that these guys aren't going out on the town and doing things that they shouldn't be doing and getting exposed to it. So there's a lot of things, I think, up in the air. And you mentioned with the NFL, the thing that I found really interesting was the NHL stuck in a bubble. They didn't have one positive test. The NFL, not in a bubble, but they're doing a pretty good job of controlling it.
This is Around the ECHL. Tommy Daniels, along with Maurice Fitzgerald, and our guest tonight, Jason Malz of the Wichita Thunder. Mo, take us home tonight.
So if you are not going to be able to get on the road with the team, what are you going to do on all those road games? You're going to be going nuts. You're going to probably be wanting to call in and do the play-by-play from home.
Well, interesting enough, and Tommy knows this, the league just announced a brand new partnership with Flow Sports, and they have a remote broadcast possibility where you can do the games off a laptop from home. Do I want to do that? No, it's not ideal. Obviously, in the NHL playoffs, you saw Doc Emmerich doing that. I don't even know how he can make out some of the players on that type of quality screen, let alone what we're going to have to deal with. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, if they're going to ask me to do that or not. If they do, then I'm going to have to do it. Do I want to? No, I don't think it's beneficial for the fans for me to try and watch and see if Stephen Fournier is skating down the ice, and I find out later in the game that it's not him that had the puck and he scored. So,
yeah.
But certainly, I think your question is it pertains to a lot of the different radio guys around the league. Are they going to be traveling? I don't have an answer to that, but that's kind of the situation I'm dealing with here.
Malz, we can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. Especially giving up some time when I know you were watching the Chiefs back there in Wichita. But, hey, we enjoy doing this segment. Second one this year for Maurice and I, and hopefully we'll see you down the road.
Hey, first off, I'm a Bears fan, so I'm not a Chiefs fan. My daughter apparently likes the Chiefs, so I could care less if they're winning or not. I'm at a friend's house because I like watching the game with him and his buddies and his family. But more than happy to join the two of you. It's crazy that this came to be the way it is, because we were supposed to play you guys down the stretch, and I was looking forward to seeing you down in Dallas. But hopefully sooner than later, guys, we can get together, grab a drink, go out for dinner, and try and get back to regular life.
Typical Bears fan, getting angry and just lashing out at me. That's all right. I'm used to that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I love you, Mel. You're the best, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Mo.
Take care.